And since the beginning of the year, 14 Israelis have been murdered by Palestinian terrorists, each victim leaving behind a grieving mother, spouse, or children, facing unimaginable pain. Joining us now is Eliana Mandell Braner, whose brother, Koby Mandell, was also killed by terrorists in 2001 at just the age of 13. And today, Eliana serves as the executive director of the Koby Mandell Foundation, which aims to help families of terror victims. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I know that this is a painful memory, but you were a young child when your brother was murdered. What do you recall of that time, and how did it affect you and your family?
So I was 10 years old when Koby was murdered. Koby was, we couldn't, when I remember it was a Tuesday, and Koby didn't come home from school. And I remember going to sleep that night, and my parents had just called the police. But at that time, it was just the beginning of the Intifada, so we didn't think that anything had actually happened. And I remember waking up the next morning, and my father was in my room with the rabbi of our community and my best friend's mother. And I asked him, "Abba, what are you doing here?" And he said, no, go back to sleep. And I told him, no, what's going on? Why are you in my room? And he sat down on my bed and he took my hand and he said, Eliana, Koby was murdered. And I looked at him and I said, Abba, we don't joke about things like that. And he said, it's not a joke. And I remember going downstairs and seeing what felt like 100 people in our house, and people just trying to hug me and give me support. And I just remember being very, very confused. They took us to the funeral, and there were about 10,000 people who came to the funeral. And I remember walking through this sea of people. And all of a sudden, the sea parted, and there were two bodies, Koby and Yosef, just lying there, wrapped in a tali. During the Shiva, there were thousands of people who came, and who came to support us and to tell my parents stories about Koby and to give us a helping hand. The children, we were all upstairs, and people came and gave us gifts. And tried to just make it better. And then when the Shiva was over, it was just, we were alone, and we didn't know how to continue from this place. And it was expected to just keep on going. And we had to learn how to start a new life with this new family dynamic without our oldest brother.
And these past few weeks, we've seen too many families like your own destroyed and devastated by Palestinian terrorist attacks. What is the Koby Mandell Foundation doing to help these families now?
So the Koby Mandell Foundation was started by my parents, Seth and Sherry Mandell. And the goal of the foundation was to help victims of terror. It started after my parents saw that the children, their children, didn't have the support that we needed. So we have a camp for 400 children who've been hurt by terror or by other tragedies. It's 400 children who've lost a mother, father, sister, and brother. And we have support groups, and we have retreats, and we try to make sure that these families are supported not only during the Shiva and during the first year, but during the rest of their time coping and healing. We believe that the healing really happens when the children meet each other, when they walk into the room at camp and they say, "Hi, what are you doing here?" And they say, "Oh, I'm here because my father has passed away." "You're here because your father passed away? That's so funny. So am I." And they immediately can talk about it. And that's where the healing happens, when they take that thing, this one their tragedy, the worst thing that happened in their life, and they make it into something that they can relate to each other with, and that's the thing that connects them. And it takes this horrible tragedy and makes it into something that's a little bit positive. And our goal is really to be there for the families when the lights go out, when everybody leaves, and to support them and to help them on their journey of healing.
All right, Eliana, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today and sharing this story with us.